Howdy, folks. I'm Fair and Wise. Thanks for joining Consuelo and Ethan on today's episode. We're pretty sure you'll find it interesting. While you're watching, please take a moment to like our video and make a comment. Also, if you're not already, please subscribe to our channel and click the notifications bell to make sure you're informed when we release each new episode. Now, let's get on with today's program.
All right, so welcome to this deep dive, and today we're taking a crack at Jon Collins-Black's treasure hunt.
Yeah, you've brought some pretty fascinating stuff to the table.
Right. We've got some analysis documents from other treasure hunters, even forum posts.
You even snagged a recent interview with Collins-Black himself.
I did. So 5 treasure boxes hidden across the U.S., all inspired by the famous Forrest Fenn hunt.
And it's going to take a lot more than luck to find them.
Oh, absolutely. Collins-Black designed this to be like a mental obstacle course.
It's like literary puzzles, intricate boxes.
And then actually going out and exploring, in the real world.
Really putting it all together.
Yeah, well, let's dive right in, okay? So the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt, everybody knows about that one.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Big one, yeah. So Collins-Black took that as like the foundation, both hunts, they've got poems, 9 clues each.
But he switched up the keywords.
Right, and the metaphors, like what they're actually referring to.
And he even swapped out the whole wilderness thing.
Oh, right.
Collins-Black, he says at least one of his boxes, it's hidden in a city, like right in the middle of all the hustle and bustle.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So imagine, I don't know, you're trying to find a treasure chest and you're like, Times Square, everybody's going about their day.
Like, where do you even start?
Yeah, well, do you think that's what he meant in the interview by environmental psychology?
Oh, it could be.
Like using that to hide the boxes?
Like hiding them in plain sight, yeah. Like everybody's just too distracted to even notice.
Yeah, too much input, right? Just
Yeah.
like a sensory overload.
Yeah, and speaking of hiding in plain sight, we got to talk about the boxes themselves.
Oh, yeah, the boxes.
Seth Gould.
It's Gould, yeah.
The guy's a master woodworker.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Smithsonian. He's got pieces in the Smithsonian.
Like, these aren't just boxes, they're practically works of art, like puzzles in themselves.
Oh, yeah, sequential locks, hidden compartments.
And for this treasure hunt, each box has a totally unique design, all Gould's work.
So it's not even just finding the box, right? It's figuring out how to open the thing.
Yeah, you're going to need some serious skills.
Do you think, maybe studying Gould's other pieces, could that, help us figure out how to open these boxes?
Oh, for sure. Like, imagine getting your hands on some 3D printed replicas of his Smithsonian pieces.
Okay, yeah.
Like, what if we could unlock their secrets? Reverse engineer them.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, could give us a huge advantage.
All right, so we're not just treasure hunters, we're also puzzle solvers, lock pickers maybe.
This is getting pretty intense, huh?
It is. So did Collins-Black give any hints about where these boxes could be?
Well, yeah, he describes the boxes with these themes, like Japanese, industrial, futuristic.
Right.
And he kind of links them to possible locations,
Okay, so the Japanese box, maybe that's in Japantown in San Francisco.
Could be.
And a futuristic one, I remember he mentioned it was hardened fiber, a biometric lock.
Oh, yeah, maybe Silicon Valley, right? All that tech stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm looking at some of these analysis documents.
Okay.
And they're saying that maybe solving one box could actually give you a clue to how to open the next one.
Like a key or something.
Yeah, like a physical thing or even just like a clue, like a riddle or something.
Oh, wow.
It's like they're all connected.
So it's like a giant escape room.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
And maybe the boxes, they're positioned geographically, you know? Like you solve one, it points you to the next one on the map.
That is mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But, okay, Collins-Black, he specifically says he designed this to discourage crowdsourcing.
Right.
So what does that even mean for us?
I mean, we can't just rely on the internet to solve it for us, right?
Okay, yeah.
He wants everybody to think for themselves.
So how do we know if a clue is even real?
Collins-Black says real clues, they'll line up with the rules in his book, and with Gould's design principles, and maybe even contain hidden markers, like ISBN cross-references or coded text from the book.
So we got to be careful, right?
Really got to be discerning.
Yeah, a lot of misinformation out there probably.
Oh, absolutely.
And what if somebody already found a box and they're not telling anybody?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, anonymous finders.
Yeah.
Definitely adds a sense of urgency.
Well, we got to crack this before everybody else does.
Exactly. You got to be quick.
Okay, so we know at least one box is in a city. But how do we even start to look for it?
Well, I mean, you can just wander around cities hoping you trip over a box, but
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work.
probably not the best strategy.
What about using satellite imagery or like digital maps?
Well, you can try that, but Collins-Black, he warns about relying too much on digital tools.
Okay.
He says, whatever distance you get from a map, multiply that by 10 for the real world.
So what looks close on a map might actually be really far away.
Exactly. Could lead to a lot of dead ends.
Yeah, that makes sense. He keeps saying boots on the ground.
He wants you to experience those locations, feel the energy of the place.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Notice those little details you might miss on a map.
But if we can't just use digital maps, how do we even choose which city to go to? I mean, there's a lot of cities.
Well, remember when we were talking about confirmation bias countermeasures?
Yeah.
Maybe we should be looking at places that are meaningful to Collins-Black himself.
Okay. So think like him.
Yeah, get inside his head.
What kind of places would he care about?
Well, we know he lives on the California coast,
Okay, yeah.
between Monterey and Santa Barbara.
Beautiful area.
Gorgeous coastline, rich history. Could be hiding a box out there.
Could be, yeah.
And what about New England?
Oh, right.
Seth Gould's workshop, that's in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, yeah.
Maybe Collins-Black, he threw in some locations from that region,
Okay, yeah.
like maybe connecting them to specific boxes.
Okay, that's cool.
Like, remember, he loves weaving together all those seemingly unrelated elements.
Right.
So Gould's boxes, those are all about craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Maybe he chose locations with historical ties to American industry,
Okay, yeah.
like bringing it all full circle.
Okay, so we've got potential locations, California, New England, and all these themes, the Japanese box, the futuristic box.
And don't forget about that whole interconnected puzzle thing.
Right. That one box could lead you to the next one.
Yeah, it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle.
It is a giant jigsaw puzzle. But we've only just started, right? I bet there's so much more to uncover.
Oh, there's definitely more to this story.
Can't wait to see what else Collins-Black has up his sleeve.
Yeah, he always keeps you guessing.
Always.
Let's take a look at his children's book.
The children's book, Our Unbreakable Thread.
What if that has clues too?
Oh, that's interesting. We'll have to explore that in part 2 of this deep dive.
Stay tuned. All right, so last time we were talking about Collins-Black's children's book, Our Unbreakable Thread.
Yeah, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around that one.
I know, right? We've got these crazy, complex boxes, urban hiding places, all this high-tech stuff.
And then a children's book.
It seems almost too simple.
Yeah, like what's he trying to pull?
Well, that's what makes it so interesting, right?
Right.
Collins-Black, he's a master storyteller, always hiding things in plain sight.
Remember that background color from his YouTube interview?
Oh, yeah. I was sneaky.
So we got to look at this book the same way we're looking at the treasure hunt clues.
Exactly. Like, we're not just reading for fun here.
We're looking for, like, hidden meanings, symbolism.
Some of the analyses, they've already started digging into the book.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? Like, what kind of clues?
Well, one thing that keeps popping up is marble.
Marble, like the material.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So could this be a clue about the box's locations?
Like maybe Collins-Black is thinking about places with marble, like quarries or something.
It's possible.
Or maybe it's more like marbles as toys, like something from childhood.
Could be. Could be. This is where that whole confirmation bias thing comes in again.
Right. We got to be careful not to just see what we want to see.
Exactly. We got to consider all the angles.
Okay, so marble, what else?
Well, there's also the whole unbreakable thread thing, right? From the title of the book.
Yeah.
A lot of people are connecting that to Ariadne's thread.
Wait, like the one from Greek mythology, the Minotaur and the Labyrinth?
That's the one.
Wow, okay.
So maybe Collins-Black is hinting at places that are like labyrinths.
Okay, so like winding paths, maybe tunnels, or even like hedge mazes.
It might sound a little out there, but remember, Collins-Black, he loves mixing things up.
Yeah, he's always connecting different ideas, different worlds.
Exactly. So mythology, literature, real-world locations, it could all be tied together.
Okay, so we've got marble, we've got the unbreakable thread, and we know he likes personal connections.
Right. So how do we narrow down locations based on all that?
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Well, let's go back to the California coast for a minute. Collins-Black lives there, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of fits that whole unbreakable thread idea, the long coastline, winding and stuff.
Are there even marble quarries in California?
Actually, yeah, there's a bunch of historical ones, some even pretty close to the coast.
So he could be playing with time, too.
Oh, for sure. Like, maybe he's not thinking about active quarries, but places that used to be important for marble.
So we're talking about history, geography, all mixed together.
It's all connected.
Okay, and what about New England? We were talking about that earlier.
Right. Seth Gould's workshop is in New Hampshire.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of old textile mills in that area.
Exactly. So maybe he's tying the unbreakable thread to places that were known for textiles, you know?
So, like, an abandoned textile mill, maybe near a historical marble quarry.
Now you're getting it?
But we can't just focus on those two places, right?
No, definitely not.
He could have hidden boxes anywhere.
Anywhere with a personal connection.
Okay, so we got to keep an open mind. Are there any other clues from the book that we should be thinking about?
Well, a lot of people are pointing to this idea of lost and found.
Lost and found.
Yeah, it's like a recurring theme in the story.
Okay, but what does that mean for the treasure hunt?
Well, think about it. The treasure boxes are literally lost, waiting to be found.
Right.
So maybe he's leading us to places that are connected to that idea.
So, like, historical sites, maybe museums, places with old stuff?
Could be. Or even places that have been rebuilt after a disaster. You know, like something lost and then found again.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
See, he's using this simple children's book to create all these layers of meaning.
It's like a treasure hunt inside a treasure hunt.
Exactly. You got to crack the code of the children's book to understand the real treasure hunt.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I'm starting to see why he doesn't want people crowdsourcing this.
He wants everyone to have their own aha moment.
Yeah, to experience the thrill of figuring it out for yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, so back to the YouTube interview for a sec.
Okay.
He said, follow the marble.
Right.
How does that fit into all of this?
Well, it seems like he's really emphasizing that marble thing, right?
Well, yeah, like it's important.
And that word follow, it suggests movement, a path, a sequence.
Okay.
So maybe we need to literally follow the path of marble, you know, like from the quarry to wherever it ends up.
Or maybe it's more metaphorical, like we need to find places that represent what marble stands for.
Like strength, beauty, that kind of thing.
And this is a lot.
It is, but it's also pretty exciting, right?
It is.
All these possibilities, and they all connect somehow.
So we've got potential locations, themes, metaphors.
And that cryptic message.
Yeah, follow the marble, still ringing in my ears.
We've made a lot of progress, but there's still so much more to uncover.
Can't wait to see what else we find.
Well, we'll have to pick up where we left off in part 3 of this deep dive.
That's right. We'll be back with more clues, more theories, and maybe even a treasure hunting plan of our own. All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into this Jon Collins-Black treasure hunt.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride so far.
It really has. From those crazy intricate boxes to those urban hiding spots,
And that children's book, who would have thought?
Yeah, our unbreakable thread, so many layers to this whole thing.
Collins-Black really wants you to use your brain.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not making it easy.
But that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah, for sure. But okay, we've got all these clues, all these leads. Where do we even go from here?
That's the big question, isn't it? Like, how do we actually find these boxes?
It's a lot to process. I mean,
It can feel kind of overwhelming, I get it.
yeah.
But Collins-Black, he's all about the challenge, you know?
Yeah.
He wants us to really dig into this stuff.
So it's not just about the treasure itself. It's about, like, the whole process of trying to find it.
Yeah, the journey, the learning experience.
I mean, I've learned so much already just by doing this deep dive.
Me too. It's like a whole new way of thinking.
Yeah, seeing connections you wouldn't normally see.
Exactly. Like, Collins-Black is kind of sneaky that way.
He is.
He's not just hiding boxes. He's hiding, like, opportunities to learn and grow, you know?
That's a really cool way to think about it. So, practically speaking, how do we actually crack this thing? What strategies can we use?
Well, remember that whole confirmation bias thing we were talking about?
Yeah, like don't get stuck in one way of thinking.
Exactly. Collins-Black loves to throw curveballs. You know?
He does. So stay flexible, be ready to change your mind when new information comes up.
Exactly. And remember, personal connections, those are huge for Collins-Black.
Right.
So as we're looking at these clues, we got to ask ourselves, what's the personal angle here?
Like, what does this tell us about Collins-Black himself? You know, like what makes him tick?
It's like we're building a profile, you know, trying to understand his motivations.
Yeah, we're like detectives, basically.
Exactly. And the more we know about him, the easier it'll be to figure out his clues.
Okay, Sherlock Holmes, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
So let's go back to that YouTube info message, follow the marble.
Right.
We've talked about different interpretations, but now that we know more about Collins-Black, does that change anything?
Well, it's worth considering, right? Like, maybe there's more than one meaning.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, maybe it's literal, follow the actual path of marble.
Okay.
Or maybe it's more about finding places that represent what marble stands for.
Right, like strength, beauty, those qualities.
And don't forget about the marble theme in the children's book.
Yeah, he keeps bringing it up, like it's important.
It's like he's trying to tell us something.
Maybe each box is connected to marble in some way, like historically or symbolically.
That would be cool, right?
Uh-huh.
Like each box tells part of the story of marble.
That would be amazing, yeah.
And remember, Collins-Black is a storyteller.
Yeah.
Maybe he's weaving a whole narrative with these boxes.
Okay, so follow the marble. That's one big piece of the puzzle.
What about the unbreakable thread? We talked about the labyrinth, but...
Could it be something else?
Yeah, like what about Collins-Black's own life?
Oh, right, that personal connection thing.
What if the unbreakable thread represents something from his past?
Okay, so like family history, childhood memories, something that's really meaningful to him.
Maybe the boxes are hidden in places that have shaped him, like places he's been or that have inspired him.
So it's not just about the clues, it's about understanding Collins-Black himself.
That's what makes this hunt so special. It's like you're getting to know the guy who created it.
Yeah, it's like a conversation almost.
Exactly. Like you're trying to understand his message, his vision.
This is getting pretty philosophical.
Well, maybe that's the point, Maybe the real treasure is the self-discovery you experience along the way.
Wow, that's deep.
It is, right? So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We really have. It's been amazing.
What advice would you give to our listeners who are ready to start their own treasure hunt?
I'd say be curious, be open-minded, and don't be afraid to think differently.
Yeah, and remember, it's not just about finding the treasure.
It's about the journey, the learning, the growth.
To all the treasure hunters out there, good luck.
Yeah, and remember, the real treasure is the knowledge and the experiences you gain along.
Well, folks, we hope you found today's video interesting and informative. Make sure to hit the like button if you did. Also, think about sharing it with another treasure hunter. And if you're not already a subscriber, please take a moment to do so now. We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, and remember, there's a treasure out there waiting for you to find it.